All right, so then next we have the Oscars. So this one's interesting. I think this news broke this week, and a little bit of a confusion here because some people were freaking out because what the Oscars. Okay, so basically the announcement is they will not have a host for this year's ceremony, especially because of the whole Kevin Hart debacle that happened. Now they're not going to have a host. But what also broke then is that they're going to get, kind of ensembles, I guess, from movies or, a combination of actors to do the different segments that a host would. And so I think one of the stories was that they were going to get the Avengers cast. I don't know if you heard about this. Did you hear about this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Avengers cast, and everybody freaked out and thought that meant that the Avengers cast would be hosting the Oscars. But that is not the case. So basically, what they wanted to do is just get the cast to do a couple segments, or maybe even just one, together, right? To do that, and I think that's a really smart move to get the cast together for Avengers. For sure. But anyway, so the Oscars, this was for Variety. The Oscars are poised to embark on one of the most radical reinventions in the award show's long history. For the first time in nearly 3 decades, it was 1978, I believe, is the last time that they did not have a host. Crazy stuff, right? So then producers will select a crop of A-listers to introduce various segments instead of relying on one marquee name to kick things off in a monologue filled with Trump singers, said the Insider. So, probably not wrong about that either. So, and then of course, as it stands, no new offers are out, nor are any expected to be made, especially after Kevin Hart's, like I said, the debacle. So, what do you think of them going with no host, first of all, for this Oscars?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it hasn't been done in like 30 years.
Yeah.
19 is that what you said? 1988. Yeah, I mean that's crazy.
I think so.
Obviously, 78. So yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
that's nuts. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's always such a big part. I mean, the monologue is pretty big and criticized or praised. It's always a massive part of the whole. I think it's. I'm not sure. I mean, I was never a huge fan of a lot of the hosts. I think some of them had good bits, a good monologue, but I think overall, I think it's going to focus a little bit more now on kind of award winners almost. I don't know. I mean, it's less kind of focus on the guy doing a monologue and doing his little bits, and now it's kind of more on, obviously the individual people, uh, whatever ensemble they choose. So it's kind of a little bit of everybody.
Mm.
And then what I was getting at is a focus a little bit more on the actual awards rather than you know, than the host. So
Yeah. It's crazy, right? I mean, after the whole Kevin Hart thing, I think a lot of us were pretty confident that not many, people would want to host anyways. And it just seems like they kind of gave up. They just didn't really send out any other, offers to anyone after the whole Kevin Hart thing kind of fell through. But it's interesting. Like you said, it's going to give an opportunity to get even bigger names, I think. Which ultimately, I don't know. Like, we'll have to see how it goes. I think once the show is over and we've seen how it goes, I think we can better judge, how it went without a host. I'm kind of with you, though. I mean, the host is, let's be honest. I mean, outside of the monologue and maybe 2 or 3 other segments and maybe the ending bit, when they kind of send you off, they don't do a whole lot. I mean, every award is.
no,
Sorry.
yeah, and that's kind of my point is they don't really do a whole lot. I mean, yeah,
Mm,
sure, there's the monologue. They have some bits, but obviously they're not part. I don't know. They still obviously have a lot to do, but and then my point was kind of it's always about the host. It seems. I mean, it's always do we like was the monologue good? Was it bad? Was there enough politics? Was there too much? Like it's always so focused on the host who really doesn't do a whole lot. And so now I think it's going to be a little bit more focused. The stories is going to be look who won or look who lost or stuff like that rather than was the monologue good? 10 minutes of a 2.5 3 hour long program.
yeah. Yep. No, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think that's even better because it's going to get more focus to the awards, like you said. And you already have, I mean, you try to get some big names to announce like the award categories and stuff. And I mean, who's gonna argue with the Avengers cast doing an opening monologue? I mean, pretty much everyone in as a movie fan is gonna enjoy something like that. And so, I mean, I don't think it's actually that big of a deal. I mean, I think obviously it's a big deal because it hasn't happened in 3 decades. But in terms of the actual show and the quality of the show,
Yeah.
it may not actually affect it too much. But I don't know. We'll have to see.